So since all the rumors of a Switch Pro slash Switch 2 are coming up again, and that people are saying it's basically been confirmed, I thought that I would go ahead and give my thoughts on what I expect the Switch 2 to be. This isn't me talking about the rumors or links or whatever. I just want to talk about what I expect and want in the new Switch. So let's get it started. First thing I want to talk about is, of course, the performance of the new Switch 2 or the Switch Pro. Now, of course, Nintendo has never been known for graphical capabilities or whatever. They've never been the people to innovate. I mean, just look at the Switch. It's running on a graphics card from 2015. Like, they're definitely not known for graphics or hardware. But what I do expect from the Switch 2 and Switch Pro is, of course, improved hardware. But I expect it to, first of all, just make the goddamn system at least 60 frames maintain. Like, that's how it should have been for the first Switch. Just make it consistent with its frames. I'm tired of playing shooters or whatever on the Switch. I'm tired of playing shooters or whatever on the Switch, and then it just drops down to 30. That's why I don't play a lot of third-party games on the Switch. That's why I mainly play first-party games. But yeah, and I also expect the overall graphical advantages in docked mode. I expect, because if it is a Switch 2 or Switch Pro, it's obviously going to have the same idea or concept as the Switch. So I expect in docked mode, I expect it to at least be in 1440p, maybe even 4K, because there was links with the Switch OLED dock, or it was the HDMI that came with the Switch OLED, that it could actually have 4K capabilities, but Nintendo threw off the idea or whatever, or improved graphical capabilities. So yeah, I expect at least 1440p at least in docked mode. And I expect at least 1080p on the Switch-based screen, because the Switch OLED I still find very disappointing, and that, the whole thing is that, oh, the screen is all brighter and better and whatever. The least they could do is improve the handheld, look quality. They could have made the base screen at least up to 1080p. 1080p would be nice, but also 1440 would be great as well. So that's my expectations for performance. Next thing is backwards compatibility. Backwards compatibility, I would want the Switch 2 to, of course, be backwards compatible with all of the old Switch games. Maybe an exception to some third-party games, where it's gonna affect where they can't do it in a certain way. That's fine, but all the base first party games, yes, they need to be playable on the Switch too. It just makes sense. It would make sense, because if not even the first party games, all the first party games should work fully on the Switch too. And it should work in a way that with the PS5 backwards compatible with the PS4, Xbox compatible with their older systems. It should work in a way that on the new system, the games not only run better, but they also look slightly better, which would also help overall. People will actually start buying. People will buy the old games that they didn't enjoy on the first Switch or normal Switch, whatever, and they'll now play it on the Switch 2 or Switch Pro because it looks and plays better. Now, as far as library of games go, I expect the library of games on the Switch 2 slash Switch Pro to be just as good, if not even better, than the normal Switch, or Switch 1, I guess. But another thing I expect is that keep a good variety of games that the Switch has. But the Switch, biggest problem I had with it at first is the lack of third-party games. I want the Switch 2 slash Switch Pro to branch out in different games, whether, third-party games. I saw that Call of Duty is going to be on the Switch First of all, Call of Duty is straight dog shit. The game hasn't been good since like 10 years ago. It's long gone from being good. But at least Call of Duty should at least run okay if they are going to bring it on the Switch, because the current Switch is going to run Call of Duty absolutely terrible. I'm calling it right now, even though the developers or whatever were saying that, oh yeah, it can run perfectly fine or whatever. Plus like it needs to, this is kind of going to lead into the next topic, but the storage for Call of Duty, like the storage is like over 150 gigabytes to install it on a console like PlayStation, Xbox, PC. So how much gigabytes is it gonna take for a Switch to download it? Like that's gonna probably be at least half, no? Like at least half of your storage is gonna be taken away, if not all of it. Like if you want Call of Duty, if you want to get Call of Duty on your Switch, bam, like your storage is pretty much almost gone. You're forced to buy a micro SD card, but you should already have a micro SD card. Let's be honest. This late in the game of the Switch, you should have a micro SD card by now. They're not even that expensive. But yeah, just better overall quality with third-party games, better performance, better graphics, all that shabam. So it can compete, or not really compete, but at least compare to PlayStation and Xbox with their systems. So now that we're on the topic of storage, I want to talk about storage. With storage, I expect obviously a fucking drastic change with storage. Okay, base storage minimum, with how big games are really getting, I expect the Switch 2 to at least have 256 gigabytes of storage, and that might even still be a little too small still, but absolute minimum should be 256 gigabytes, because Nintendo needs to understand, or I'm pretty sure they do understand, games are only going to get more and more complex as the years go on. So having more storage in the system would make a lot of sense, right? So yeah, basic minimum 256 gigabytes. Honestly, they should just have 512 gigabytes, because again, games are only going to get larger and larger, and the storage is only going to get larger and larger as well. So storage needs to be base minimum 256 gigabytes. For actual build of the system, have it similar to the Switch, about the similar, you have the dock, all that stuff, Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons, however, okay, the Joy-Cons, they need to be fixed. Okay, not just drift, but the overall actual build quality. Like, okay, drift should be fucking gone. Like, that's not a hard problem at all to fix. Nintendo, stop being cheap. Stop charging $80 for such small controllers. Fix Joy-Con drift, damn it. Like, even PlayStation addressed it with their new controllers. I got drift on my PS5 controller, like, when I first got it back in 2020. The joystick started drifting a bit, or it did start drifting, and when I got a new controller, it was like a new build model that Sony made, and yeah, that problem is pretty much gone. I've had this controller for months and months and months, never had drift issues. With Nintendo's Joy-Cons, constant use for like fucking only 1-2 months, done, just destroyed. So that needs to be fixed. The Joy-Cons, and the actual Joy-Cons should be like those HoriPad controllers, like have actual grips on them. The grips need to be better, because there's like basically not even any grips, right? On the current Joy-Cons, it's just like flat, like no grip at all. And so have it similar to the Steam Deck. Like, Nintendo could take a lot of notes for the Steam Deck. Obviously, I'm not saying, oh, copy all of this from them, this and that, but at least have the basic idea of like the Joy-Cons obviously still separate. You can take them on and off the actual tablet, but in the Joy-Cons need to have actual grip. Actual grip will help a ton. It will help a ton, and I'm sure a lot of you all can agree. even fanboys, oh, the Joy-Cons aren't that bad. Admit it to yourself. Compared to other controllers, they need to be changed with better build quality. And I expect the Pro Controller, if they do a Pro Controller 2 or whatever like that for the Switch 2, it should be about the same, honestly. Like it should be like how Xbox did their Series X controllers, where it's like the Xbox One controller was pretty much fine. Like it didn't really need that much changes. Same thing with the Pro Controller. If Nintendo decides to do a Switch 2 Pro Controller or whatever, just keep it more near the same. Just slightly different stuff to it, like maybe analog triggers on the Pro Controller, because Nintendo doesn't like analog triggers though, so I guess that's never gonna happen. Yeah, the Pro Controller is pretty much fine on its own. Last but not least, Switch Online. Oh boy, if you're going to have Call of Duty on that terrible online service, well, it's not that bad, but like actual connection problems, I do not like Switch Online. Okay, I like the fact that I do like the fact that you get old games or whatever, but they're games you've already played before. I have them all on one system, okay, and you played them before. But still, the Switch Online should be a lot better. It shouldn't have a lot of connection problems. Like, just don't make it the same like the Switch Online 1. And also, this is a quick minor note, but why do I keep seeing Nintendo post the same Switch Online trailer, but there's like just one new thing different, and it's like 5 seconds or whatever? Congratulations, Nintendo. You actually became a YouTuber where they find something that works, they do the same thing over and over, and they just slightly change it up a bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Switch Online. Just make it better connection, so more online games can come to the Switch. And actually, again, going back to third party games, it will branch out different games to come to the system, and will overall improve the sales of the Switch. Actually, like a lot of online gamers, they will look at that and say, oh, I'm getting a Switch, because they finally changed the online. And I know how much Nintendo likes money. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Switch Online. And there you guys have it. That is going to do it for those are pretty much all of my main topics that I wanted to address. Those were pretty much my biggest issues that I had with the Switch One. Like I said, the Switch One, as much as I liked the Switch One, it definitely had a lot of flaws that could definitely be improved on. And like I said, addressed my main ones in this video. There are a couple of minor ones that I would like to I thought of before, but they're not that big. They're not that big of a deal. They're pretty minor, honestly. Like, I was going to bring up like with the overall build quality with like the dock, with no scratches or whatever. Just make the dock better build quality and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. Let me know in the comments what you expect or want from the Switch 2/Switch Pro. And yeah, bye.